in the covers, 3 men saving 1 on the leg side. The gaps are at third man, straight fine leg, fine leg, and cow corner. Oh, good ball by Bentley. He doesn't get his wicket and he doesn't get his fifer. I'm not sure if that's the end of him. I think he might have one more or not. We'll just have to wait and see. End of the
bowl 10. He still might be on.
He might have a chance of his fifer, which would be a great effort to see as George is coming on at the pavilion end. Heap George, slow left arm. You'd think after Bentley's spell they'd bowl Bellingham. He does have 2 wickets to his name. Another cut shot attempted by the batsman. Missed out on both occasions. Ooh, ho, ho. Not playing the spin too well. A 3rd play and miss. Not a bad start for George in this spell. Oh, gets the cut shot away, and he'll get the 1. End of the over. Well, surprise Cliff. Bentley isn't a bowl, which would suggest he's finished his spell. And it's not Bellingham. Looks like... or Barfield. Alistair Bentley unable to get his Michelle Pfeiffer. Oh, misfield. Runs down the ground. That was, I think it was McDougall. And that's the end of the over. Yes. Yes. I suppose. It's pretty true for this team. They don't lose very often, but they always lose enough to not make it to a premiership. And a very anticlimactical wicket. A wicket. A wicket. Yes, it was such a low cheer.
I was just reaching down to pick up my knitting, and when I looked up, the wicket had fallen.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's prompt.
Pretty sure I told you I would regret sculling those cruises.
Definitely. Well, the batsman went for a pull shot, top edge, caught by keeper Mitchell.
No. That must make him about 8.
Give us another
That is 8. We've lost 4 wickets in the session. You sometimes see anticlimactical wickets in the lower grades of the Diamond Valley cricket, but in the higher grades, when the umpire gives out LBW when it's not out, yeah, whatever. or when you get a wicket that you really don't deserve the ball. We've seen that plenty of times. Cliff?
We have indeed, and not so much from my bowling, but from some of the lesser bowlers, you do see that sort of thing.
Well, David Teakle, full toss down the leg side.
Yeah.
The batsman went for a leg glance, top edge, caught by Gilmore, who was keeping at the time. Yeah, he didn't drop it, he actually caught it.
Yes, it does happen, but hopefully not too long.
And the wicket has fallen, first ball. I think it was LBW. The batsman not really going forward, staying. We don't have it on film. And that's the end of the innings. So they don't have their full side.
What was that inning, Bella? All three?
The team walking off, having bowled them out. Heath George will be on a hat-trick if they happen to force a third inning. The target, about 130, give or take 20. Well, it's definitely not going to be, no. But we will check the scorecard. And another very good performance from Panton Hill. They seem to be getting better and better every day, but can they win the premiership this season? We'll take a break here on Channel 8, and when we get back, we'll see Panton Hill batting. Welcome back. Panton Hill bowling out Thomastown for 135. Bellingham to face first ball.
Yep.
Looks like a tall, medium pacer to bowl at the pavilion end.
Laughing.
The wicket takers for Panton Hill. 4 for Bentley, his first 4 wickets in the season, and it's one of the best bowling performances for Panton Hill this summer.
But she's not the sort to worry though, is she?
2 for Bellingham, 2 for George, he's on a hat-trick, and we'll have to wait if there's a third innings to see if we can get it. And the 1 run out, there wasn't an 11th batsman. So,
I'm feeling a little bit tired.
all that for 135. Now that could be close for a wide. Now the wicket of the one that was a top edge, the second last wicket, George was a full shot. George was bowling, caught by Mitchell. That was Fitzgerald, the opening batsman. He scored 63. Completely the highest scorer of the performance by Thomastown. Other than him, it was a complete hogwash performance. As Bellingham pushes it out to mid-off, dot ball. Tall medium pacer.
Very upright action.
Reminds me a bit of Brett Dory. And the over. Well, it's good to see some multicultural in cricket, especially at Diamond Valley level. And it looks like a player with darkish skin will be taking the new ball. What do you have to say about that, Cliff?
Well, yes, and not to be making stereotype, but he also is doing the pace bowling and not just spinning, leading the spinning attack. So this might worry young Bellingham here. This bowler is renowned for moving the ball away from the right-hander.
Where'd you get the
shoes? To see whether Bellingham moves too far across and perhaps exposes that leg stump.
3 men on the leg side, gap at fine leg. Fine cover drive shot.
Run hard. Do it properly. Good, Chukka.
It's a very good, unique shot by Jackson. The other Bellinghams don't really have a cover drive, but
It was off a full toss.
yes,
Can cover draw that.
yeah. But Bellingham does have a cover drive.
Yes, does end up open the.
And on certain lengths, he can play it quite well. That ball was wide. Not really applying any serious aggression. There's just the one slip, and it was more of a protection of the fielder. It's that big chug-a-lug hitter, and I don't think he's a very good. He would be a very good runner, because that's what they often do in lower grades. Protect the bad fielders by putting them at slip. He looks to be more of a hitter and a thrower than a runner. And a big full toss, creamed through backward point. Two runs to Bellingham. They've also got the gully and then men in the covers, including point, cover, mid-off, mid-on, mid-wicket and square leg. So all the standard fielding places being...
Yes, and it's good to see the food being shared around. Bellingham being given a few pies there. Just to welcome into the crease.
End of the over. The time on the grandstand clock reads 11:38. So you'd think 2 or 3 more overs before the end of play. Not similar, but not quite the same to last week, where Panton bowled out the opposition in the before the end of the day's play. This time they don't have enough time to really be aggressive and assess them. And that's the end of the... George, he's out. Wow.
Well, it's just like your opinion of what happened there.
I was just saying that they don't have anything to gain from this session, unlike last week where they had enough time to get their eye in and get rid of the new ball. Here they've only got a few minutes of play and they have lost George. And the night watchman Legassic comes out.
Well, there's an element of panic amongst the Panton higher up.
That ball seemed to go on straight. George going for the traditional defensive shot where he keeps himself square on so he can get the full face of the bat. But the ball just not swinging into the bat, instead going on straight, getting the outside edge, put behind, and a rare failure for George and a rare failure for the entire Panton under 16 team. They've been going so well, they are undefeated and we're up to round 4.
Yes, well, there hasn't been many chinks in the army yet, but they didn't beat Research, and they haven't played Riverside, I think, is it? Or they have played. I think there's another good team in it.
Yes. So, Legassic. Now, we haven't seen too much of Legassic at all. We haven't seen any of him at Channel 8. Now, his statistics, he has 32 runs at an average of 32. Highest score 30 not out. He's said to have the reputation of a big hitter down the order. He hasn't had much of an opportunity with the batting feats of George, Mitchell, Gilmore, so he hasn't had a chance to show his stuff at Channel 8. But just playing out the rest of the day's play, that's all there is to do. He can then go for the win next week. And it wouldn't be much of a challenge, 135. And a second wicket has fallen. Legassic going for the hook shot, being caught at mid-wicket.
There's a little undisciplined there. He hasn't got used to the pace off the pitch. Facing the shiny ball for one of the first times in the season, and was really a little bit.
And so Legassic out for a duck. Suddenly, Thomastown might think they have a chance. Although Mitchell and Gilmore, who's coming out now, and I think it might be McDougall. So they're obviously decided that Thomastown are a weak opponent, and they can switch the batting order around to give everyone a go, which is a good idea.
Yes, well, still a little too early to call. Got the deep batting lineup, so we'll have to wait and see how the paper unfolds. They'll be in the game.
The multicultural right arm medium bowler to continue. The 2 wickets were taken the previous over by the tall medium pacer that would have gotten a bit of bounce out of the pitch because he's so tall. Take what you want and leave the change. That big juicy full toss. Bellingham takes a couple. Much better ball. Oh, an appeal for the wicket. I'm not sure what it was for.
For LBW, but at least he didn't go inside there and expose.
Yes, Bellingham got good, well forward, and well forward again, outside edge. And I feel if you can get Bellingham stretching forward, that's the place to get him.
I think followed off little stuff slightly short of the length, and then you can whip it away, and he won't hit all of them.
Yes, because when he's free to play his strokes and he can just play with ease, I think Bellingham doesn't have too much worries. But when he's got to defend and he stretches, gets his weight wrong, but that is easy as
Ridiculous leave there.
easy as pie. You can leave those all day. There's not much of the day to go.
No, this will be it. Final. It's the final over.
So McDougall won't have to face a ball. He'll want to make most of his batting opportunities up the order. End of the over. And they're not going to make another over. That's the end of the day's play, so you were correct, Cliff.
Yeah, it's going by the scoreboard clock there on the grandstand. Clearly, time has come. And the umpire clearly off the ground.
McDougall and Bellingham walking off with the umpires. The Thomastown team having a nice huddle. The game is yet to be won or lost, with Panton Hill 2 down for about 10, chasing 135. It was a good day for the bowlers, but who will win? We'll catch you next time. I'm Chukka Wilson. Here is Cliff Jones. We'll catch you next time at the Cracknell Reserve for day 2 of this 2005-06 Diamond Valley Under 16 clash. The first boundary of the session. Will Bateman to continue to bowl at the Roger end. And a full toss. 4 runs. He didn't signal that it hit the fence. And yet, a huge crowd applauded. Maybe just like last time, low standards for the batsman. Now that is 4. current issues of cricket and other sports around the local area. And that's the end of that batsman.
Many of our viewers.
And that's the end of that batsman.
Many of our viewers will be rewinding at this point of time.
Well,
Have a closer look at that.
and that's the end of that. The short brown helmet guy.
Just a teeny little super guy now trudges his way.
The short brown helmet guy.
Just a teeny little super guy now trudges his way back to the pavilion.
Out for a duck. Caught Gilmore at square leg. We did catch that on film. I was able to... a third slip Gilmore. And that's bowled. Bentley has picked up the wicket. The batsman... Bentley has picked up the wicket. The batsman, left-hander, bowled middle stump, out of the ground. Always lose enough to not make it to a premiership. And a very anticlimactical wicket. And a very anticlimactical wicket. Wicket. A wicket. Yes, it was such a...
Hopefully not too long.
and the wicket has fallen. First ball. I think it was LBW. And the wicket has fallen. First ball. I think it was LBW. The batsman not really going forward, staying... we don't have it on film. And that's the end of the innings. So they don't have their full side.
What was that hitting, Bella? All three?
In the before the end of the day's play. This time they don't have enough time to really be aggressive and assess them. And that's the end of the... George, he's out. Well, next week. And it wouldn't be much of a challenge, 135. I'm Chukka Wilson, joined with... And a second wicket has fallen. Lagassic going for the hook shot, being called at midwicket.